Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of the Perfect 10. If you have been playing full out over these last 3 days, either joining me live or catching me on the replay this week, can you drop into the comments, yes. We are going to play hardcore like Tony Robbins does, and he always says, say yes. Say yes, say yes. Okay, so drop in the comments a big yes if you're playing full out. Today, I want to say thank you if you are for making the time, not just for me, but for yourself. Gang, you are committing to your commitment. So I want to welcome on Elise and Jody as you guys are hanging on here and other people are jumping on. If you have not had the opportunity to backtrack and go over day 1 and 2, please know that you got to do that, all right? Because you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out on the nuggets of information and the tools that you've learned over the last couple of days, and we're going to talk about how to apply them. Now, I'm going to give you a Cliff Note version and a summary of what we've been working on for these last couple of days. But before I do that, I want you to make sure that you have your Perfect 10 manual, okay, or workbook, whatever we want to call it. Okay, you have that ready. That you have your water on the rocks. Get that. As we know that drinking water or our electrolytes, that helps reset the vagus nerve, helps keep us hydrated, rev the metabolism. But the lemon water, man, that's where it's the trick. You drank their lemon water this morning. If you drank your lemon water, the correct protocol, by the way, you weren't messing with it, you weren't putting stevia in it, you weren't putting ACV in it, how it's intended in the plan, and you read the plan, so that's why you're incentivized to do that specific technique, right? You're not trying to hack it on yourself. Then drop a lemon emoji in the comments. Hello, Queen Christine. Hello, KJ. Hope you guys are feeling great. The other thing that I'm going to recommend you get is a writing utensil and your journal. So at the top of your day, you should have started, well, yesterday I coined the term with the gratitude sandwich, all right, where the first piece of bread, calorie-free bread, carb-free, by the way, gluten-free, everything free, all those things we got to worry about, right? But that first piece of bread that you put on your gratitude sandwich, we're counting your 10 blessings, the 10 things that you are most grateful for at the top of your day. And we talked about why that's so important to start your day with that. And if you're scratching your head wondering why, catch those replays. Hey, Holly. Hey, Erica. Now, what was the best thing that happened to you yesterday? I posted a picture in the group. Some of you saw it. I had my weave on. I had this amazing sparkly dance outfit that a friend of mine let me borrow. The best thing that happened to me yesterday was that I got to reconnect with a person who I had not danced with for 20 years. He is probably one of the most talented people, if not the most talented person that I've ever had the opportunity to dance with, who's male. And it was so invigorating. So we got a chance to shoot some footage for a very special event that's going to be happening at Live Casino in the spring. And I was so grateful for that. Now, the day before, the best thing that happened to me was that I got to take a walk in the woods with my son and swing on a swing set at a playground while it was golden hour in the sunset. So all these things are so awesome. And I'm not telling you to be like, my life is awesome. Ooh, yeah. No, because guess what? Layered in that gratitude sandwich sometimes is a poop emoji and a couple poop emojis. But you know what? I'm not here to talk about the poop emoji. I'm talking about how you are going to succeed over these next 10 days. And we are going to hear from some living, breathing, amazing humans. I have some of them on this call. They're starting Perfect 10. But I have 2 very special ladies who are going to be joining us, technology gods in our favor. We're going to be inviting them on the stream here with Facebook. And the first lady, her name is Hannah. She's going to be talking to you about how the Perfect 10, specifically this protocol, was a huge shift for her. Now, my second client, her name is Jen. She's going to be talking a little bit about how she's done past group programs of mine, as well as where she is today. Because guys, I have my story, and some of you might relate to my story of when I started with my relationship with food, how I've been all different types of weights, and how have I stepped into my true identity and continue to be up leveled. But some of you can't relate to that. But I bet you're going to be able to relate to one of these amazing women. So, and by the way, as Hannah and Jen are probably listening, they're like, wait a minute, Aubrey, you didn't tell me to prepare anything. Don't worry, I'm going to interview you guys. They're like, wait, I'm talking. So I told them, I said, don't worry, I got you. I'm just going to do a Q&A with them, and they're going to, answer authentically. Okay, so let's see. Gals, it's important to ask yourself, are you here to just watch and listen? Are you here to truly make a change in your life? If you're truly here to make a change and not go backwards, remember the 3-pronged fork? Give me some yeses out there. Right, we want to say yes. We want to use the emotion inside of us to propel us forward, because knowledge is nothing unless you act on it. And that's what it's about today with the tool set. Real quick, for those of you who are new and maybe just joining me for the first time ever, my name is Aubrey Warwick. I'm a transformation coach, a TV fitness expert, and a fitness and bikini pro, which this evening, wish me safe travels with my husband. We are flying to Tampa, Florida for my 3rd pro show with the OCB this weekend. Very, very blessed. And that's why I put the little blessed. It's so important, even though, as we run through life playing beat the clock, it's so important to say, you know what, it's a pretty damn good life that we signed up for. But if we don't have our health, and if we're not feeling like we can thrive in our earth suit, been there. I want to get you to a point where you are thriving, not just surviving, that you got the keys to the Corvette and you're like, I'm going to take this for a spin for as long as I darn well can. Okay, so I'm going to consult my notes here. The tools that we have acquired start with the U work that we did. On day number 1, we were talking about how we can interrupt neural pathways that can continue to fire, that happen, that make us have behavior changes that we don't want. Okay? And my new slogan is, I'm going to be your natural Ozempic. Okay? Because I'm using that because that's kind of the buzz. And there's no judgment if you're on a semaglutide or anything like that. But I'm here to tell you there's more than one way to get to your goal. And how do I know that? It's because that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. Okay? And in order to perfect that, we did a technique that it was, I'm getting my sticky note out. It was stop. There it is. Stop. I'm a perfect 10. And it might be unnerving for you to say that, like, oh my God, I'm not a perfect 10. Well, guess what? We went the step further to stop that negative self-talk and to cut off that neural pathway by writing on our sticky notes and putting a picture of ourselves when we were a young girl. Because guess what? You wouldn't talk to a child like that. You wouldn't say, you're a perfect 4, right? No. You would be like, oh my gosh, you're perfect as God made you. As you came into this world, I see only beauty. Yeah? So that's how we want to start talking to ourselves. That's tool number 1. Tool number 2, there's still time to do it, okay? That you can post your U work, was that you had to go into stealth mode. Stealth mode is self mode. And find a time during your day that's it's untouchable. That you're not going to be distracted by all these things that are popping up in your news feed, or that you feel suddenly or a sense of emergency, where we scramble our brain and give ourselves self-diagnosed ADD. How do I know this? Because I feel that, and Dan's probably like, yeah, Aubrey, I see that. So I go into stealth mode, self mode, as soon as I wake up in the morning. That is when I do my morning ritual, my gratitude stuff, and my gym time. Now, for those of you who just were doing the Hourglass Goddess workout, and it's just a series of 3 exercises that can help build your hourglass in minutes, not hours. You posted a little picture on your calendar when you were going to do that for accountability. People who want to work with me, they hire me for behavior change, for accountability, and for freaking results, man. Right? So that's why I do what I do. And it's important to know that Rome was not built in 10 days. The perfect 10 can be perfect for you for 10 days. But what happens when the 10 days is done? And these are the clients that I'm about to interview for you guys. They're going to talk about how they've used the tools that they've acquired working with me through the Envision series, how they apply them on a daily basis in order to create new behaviors, and honestly, behaviors that we want to last. And what I have learned about myself over the years is that it is important to use certain avenues or vehicles, rather, when you know yourself the best. I'm going to go extreme for a second. I'm thinking right off the top of my head of, is his name Russell Brand? Russell Brand. Yes, Russell Brand with the long hair, English guy. Okay, Russell Brand. He is a former heroin addict, and he has become now like a spiritual guru of sorts. He's a pretty cool guy if you follow him on YouTube. I kind of like what he talks about, and I thought he's a good actor, but I was never like, oh, I'm a diehard fan of this guy. But he shares his raw and real story about how even to this day, every day he wakes up and he still thinks about that drug. But what he has done specifically is put in place these different types of things in his life so that he will never resort back to that old behavior. And he's become a life changer and inspiration for it. And I thought that was really powerful. And I thought, well, I can relate to him because I talked to you about having an eating disorder and food's everywhere, right? So what I have done throughout the course of my life, I've decided to help other people lose weight, feel great, balance their hormones, change their mindset, because I needed to do that too. And I had to master it. And part of me competes in bikini shows because that helps me. It's a vehicle for me to continue to grow and thrive in order to not resort back to a very extreme place that I don't want to revisit. Not everybody has to do it the way that I do it. And you're going to hear from these moms on how they do it differently in order to not resort back and have rebounds. Now, nobody's perfect, guys. I call it the perfect 10 because it's 10 days, because it gets our attention. And we all want, and innately we want to be 10s in everything in our life. But we also know that it's important to give ourselves grace and that how we define our own perfect 10 in our life. My perfect 10 is not your perfect 10 in all these aspects of life. And so we have to let go of the comparison. And we can look to others for inspiration. And I look to my clients for inspiration. I've learned so much from my clients. I'm so grateful and absolutely blessed to have these people partner up with me. And we do this partnership, like I said yesterday, it's kind of like dating, you know? So, gang, if you feel called specifically to learn more about my Envision programs, you want to book a call. You want to hit me up in the DMs. I will send out an email to have the opportunity to do that. Okay, so tomorrow I am going to do a bonus call. We're going to talk about pricing. It's not going to be a secret. And we talked about cost shifting. So once... Oh, okay. Thank you. It's 11:45. So we're going to pull on Hannah here, and she's also, I'm going to ask her about cost shifting as well, which is actually a perfect segue. You know, when we talked about pricing with her, she was like, okay, got it. I'm going to shift a couple things around. Let's do it. Because it was so important and imperative to her that she wanted to make this vital change in her life. She had tried a lot of different things, and some of them worked, but they didn't stick. And who knows? Let's hear it from her versus me. So I want to make sure, I did see Jen pop on the feed, but in order for me to bring Hannah on, I have to invite her. Let's see here. And if you guys don't mind, pardon me, as sometimes there is a delay on this. And I am going to try to put my headphones on too with this, because you guys will be able to hear both of us. But sometimes when I bring people on the live, I have to get like really close to my phone, and then I can't hear the person that I'm interviewing. So you got to love it. I mean, this is a great feature that Facebook has, but it's not flawless, as we know. Okay, where'd she go? Hold on. I might have to text her real quick because I don't see her on my feed. All right, I'm back here, gang. Okay, as we are waiting for Hannah to pop in my feed, because where I see, I don't know if Dan sees it on his, but oh, Hannah says yes. It just froze on her though. Okay, we'll wait for some connectivity issues for her as she comes on, because I got plenty to talk about. And I will pull Jen on next because she said that she's good at 12:15. I don't want to ambush her and get her on there. So we're going to wait till Hannah is unfrozen, and we're going to come back. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we were talking about cost shifting. We'll talk about that a little bit more with Hannah. Oh, this is a good one. I want to talk to you guys about this. All right. So speaking of the cost shift, how many of you, let's reiterate this, how many of you are coffee drinkers? Put a little coffee, oh, there she is, coffee emoji in the feed. Hannah, I'm going to grab you in 1 second. So according to this source online, it's called The Perfect Brew. How funny is that? Perfect Brew. Okay. Women spend an average of $2,300 per year on their coffee habit. Dunkin', Starbucks, right? So just do a quick tally up if you're going through the drive-through at those locations or wherever, or maybe a local place, even if they have organic coffee with honey in it. I do this too, and I'm like, but that was like, almost $5, and I tipped them. Can't do that every day because that's $35 a week. And I want to support my local businesses, but we can make some cost shifts. So you're like, oh, just like we can make calorie shifting, macro shifting, all these things. BJ is drinking the coffee, yes. So think about that. I want you to do the math, okay? Own it. You don't run from it. Don't lie to yourself. The other thing is, the average female spends $43 on just a general shopping trip. Let's say you run into Target. I don't need anything. Why are you running in there, girl? What you doing? Spending $43 on stuff you don't need. More lip gloss you don't need. So we can break that habit real quick, because what we're going in there for is that quick dopamine hit. Something like, oh, it's new and exciting and it makes me feel a certain way real quick. But I'll tell you what, it's so short. Retail therapy is too short, guys. I lived that last year. I haven't been doing it. I think those of you who know that I'm a recovering workout clothing purchaser, Dan knows I've been really good for the last year. I went through my fix. I'm not saying that won't happen again because I love workout clothes, but I got enough. Okay, Hannah, I'm gonna grab ya. Hannah wants to join. Come here, Hannah. Getcha. All right, guys, we are going to get you on here. I'm bringing you on video. Send the invite, Hannah. And Dan, let me know if you can still hear me with my headphones. We are right now. It says adding. The suspense, everyone. Can you still hear me with my headphones? As far as you know? Okay, he's giving me the thumbs up. Okay. And thank you guys, as we are just letting, there's always a little bit of a delay when we add someone on. And you might say, well, use StreamYard or something like that. I know. I will do that next time. We'll have to have more technology involved. Okay. It still says adding. As we are adding Hannah, it's like blinking. She's going to get on here. I know it. Sometimes I have to click it twice. There we go. Some people are asking, what is the star feature on here? Stars is like how you can support me through, my content. Let's say you're like, Aubrey, I love you, but I know I don't want to do a transformation program. Stars are kind of like a little tip. Like you could link it to your PayPal account, and that's my tip jar. So think of it that way. That helps support me with my Empowered Fitness coaching group, and is always greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. I don't know if Hannah's probably like, Aubrey, what are you doing? It looks like I could bring everyone else on. It's so funny because it's like, hey, bring Stacy on, bring Renee on. I want to bring Hannah on. I could bring all you guys on, but I'll tell you what. Try that again, Hannah. Send the invite if you can. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Links. Okay.
Why isn't it a good idea to tell a joke to an egg?
Who said that?
It might crack up.
Oh, Dan saying jokes. I don't know if you can hear that. He's so funny. There we go. One more time. Approve. Oh my gosh, there we go. All right, Hannah. It's going to work now. I know it is. I don't know why I did that. Here we go. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry to keep you so long. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, it is so great to see you. I actually have not seen you for a hot minute. And so guys, Hannah completed her Envision program, let's say not too long ago, but you signed up for when I was offering a 4-month series.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's evolved to 6 months, and now I'm taking it to a year membership. But Hannah, you are absolutely amazing. And you really trusted the process. When I first met you, we didn't know each other at all. It was just through like a referral of a friend type of thing. And if you could just share something about like where you were at that point before you decided to take this step to, like, you just booked a call with me. That's where we started. And could you just time travel back to say, like, where were you in your life that you feel comfortable with sharing, physically, mentally, emotionally, and what caused you to take that massive action step?
Yeah, I was all over the place, physically, emotionally, mentally, all over. I'm a single mom, had my kid later in life, and my husband at the time told me he wanted a divorce when my son was 11 months old. So it was very, so I was coming off of all of that. I just bought a house. I had been working out with a personal trainer for 3 years at that point. I was going to the gym 5 to 7 times a week, and lifting heavily, doing all the things. And I just wasn't seeing any results. I had lost some inches, but I was just still so frustrated. I had friends that had done Ozempic, Wegovy, all the things, and not gonna lie, I was pissed. I was so mad. I had put in all this time, put in all this effort, and they were skinny. And I was over here mad. Like, what else do I need to do? What can I do? I tried the semaglutide compounding. Didn't do anything for me. I might have lost, I think in 4 months, I lost 6 pounds with that. I
remember you saying that.
I lost some inches, but I mean, I was still tracking my foods, still working out, still doing all the things. And I had gone to a doctor and he was like, yeah, don't do that. He was like, you don't know what's in that. You don't, and you should have dropped faster than this. Like, I was just like, okay, I'm frustrated. I'm done. I got to figure this out. So I had actually been invited to your group page a while back ago, and I had watched the things and followed along. And I thought, like, what else? What else can I do? And I'm going to call, and I'm going to book a call, and just try it. Just give it to God, give it to Aubrey.
And you were. It was amazing to me because I was like, all right, I want to crack this code, right? We want to crack this code because I thought, all right, there's a couple things that initially during our call, I said, you know what, I do have a couple tricks up my sleeve that I think that, I want to try with you, and that are a couple tools in the toolbox, so to speak, and let's see if that works. Now, you did a great job, gang. What Hannah did a great job is, I want you to hear this message that she's really saying, read between the lines, is that she didn't give up on herself, right? Because all those, it was like the odds were really stacked against you. You had a lot of life really hitting you down hard. And I know that you're very faith-based. So you had a lot of poop emojis in between those layers of your gratitude sandwich, right? And I thought, okay. So we looked at, your life from the physical aspect, of course. You already had exercise as a habit. We started to tweak the type of exercise that you were doing. We actually started to dial back to say, like, all right, does your body just need to rest? So we started to dial back for a little bit. And we then started to, we went over the mental and emotional components, did a couple different techniques there. You're totally up for it. And then, guys, we did what the kind of standard protocol. We were tracking macros and calories. And that is typically where I like to start just as a foundation. And what we had found, it was like, okay, we could see like your body changing like a little bit, but the scale wasn't moving. And we're like, all right, something's got to give. And I talked to you about this because I'm very sensitive when people have like, let's say if we've had a tumultuous relationship with food, I want to get, we wanted to get your mindset right, where it wasn't like, oh my God, I need to go on a crash diet. Like, we didn't want that. So that's why we didn't start with like Perfect 10 right out of the gate, because we wanted to make sure that your mindset was right. So, I was so appreciative that like, you were like, Aubrey, I'm ready for it. Let's do it. So could you then talk about like when, you started Perfect 10 and we started to, can you talk maybe a little about Perfect 10 and what you omitted from your diet that started to get the needle moving?
Yeah, I followed the stop sign. I put the stop sign in a lot of places. I moved things from my general food areas, like my son's food, his school snacks, stuff like that. I put them in a place that was going to be difficult for me to get to them. Or I really had to put in an effort, I guess, to get to some of those things. Like his refrigerator stuff went to the garage refrigerator. Um, his snacks went to the pantry, went to the laundry room pantry instead of into the kitchen. So there were a lot of things that I moved there. For me, it was just cutting out all the fluff.
Yeah.
It was the fluff. I mean, I love a carb, and not a good one, not a good carb.
And even if it fit even if it fit in your macros,
Mhm.
right? And we also did, so gang, we did do like some fluffy cleanup with Hannah, so to speak, where we went organic. Okay, so we did those organic swaps. And even if it was like cheese in the diet, I was like, all right, let's have better quality cheese, not like Kraft singles, that sort of thing. So that was helpful. And I know that, you were open for that, because now you live, tell everybody where you're from and like kind of your upbringing real quick, if you don't mind.
I live in West Virginia. I live in Parkersburg. Actually, I grew up on a small, like, little working farm. So I was very active, very much working, all those stuff. So a lot of my meat and products were organic because we raised that. We raised our own. So I knew exactly what I was getting the majority of the time. Huge garden, canning, freezing, all the things. So a lot of the stuff that I had growing up was good for you, in a sense that I didn't necessarily realize that maybe that they were good for me there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And so now as everyone's listening, I think that they can relate to you, because sometimes I get a lot of people, Hannah, in your shoes, like, Aubrey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like I'm doing so many things right. And you were doing so many things right, which led to a very, frustrating point, because you could also look at someone else, if we're using comparison or observation with other people, to say, man, you mean like I can't like have half of a cookie and this person's eating 3 cookies, and look at them, they're dropping weight. So once we kind of let go of that,
what the Perfect 10 did, when you hear talk about the fluff, and you read through the Perfect 10, we took out troublemaker foods and kryptonite foods from Hannah's diet, and we said, we had the kumbaya talk. We were like, listen, this is just temporary. And so that it wasn't like, oh my God, I can never eat cheese again. Oh my God, I can never have a beer again. That wasn't the point. The point was, how long do we need to remove these foods from her diet in order to get her where then she can incorporate them back in a minimal amount. It's not like you're having beer and cheese every day, and you weren't before. But we had to do this, and from our communication, Hannah was an excellent communicator with me, which is a huge part of the program. Is that okay? She had all these other choices to make, right? It wasn't like, oh my gosh, she's crying at night because she can't eat cheese right now. And you might say, well, why is cheese a guilty culprit? Make sure you guys go through my P10 videos, right? Because, and Hannah and I talked about that, to say, okay, it's not that I'm trying to vilify cheese. I'm not trying to vilify eggs. However, we knew that right away there was too much fat and protein in her diet, and her liver was just not functioning at a fever pitch. We wanted it to get there. So she was up for it. We did P10 hardcore for 10 days. And that's when we were like, all right, the scale for it finally started to move. And it was like a beautiful thing. Like, I remember reading your check-in, like tears were in my eyes. I'm like, yes, we are cracking the code. So, Hannah, you just still stick out in my mind as one of my rockstar clients, because you were so positive, even though when we started out, it was slow to get the wheel moving. And what would you say to someone who feels like they have tried everything and they feel just kind of like they have this F it mentality? I mean, do you have any advice for anybody that's maybe in similar shoes as you, or as you were?
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, working with you was probably the best thing that I could have done for myself, because, like you said, I had tried a lot of things. I had tried different diets, I had tried different food programs, all the things. And I played college sports. I have always been a very active person, so it didn't take me long to snap back in shape usually. And but working with you changed my mindset on it. I mean, it is a lot of mental. I mean, I know you've talked about it in a lot of things, and with the different techniques and things that you've put in play and just gone over in the last 2 days. It is so mental, and I was not good. I was mean to me, and
Yeah.
I can still be mean to
Yeah.
me. And you called me out on it real
Yes.
quick. And
Yes.
I needed that. And then I needed that accountability. I needed that extra attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it really worked for me, because now it's just like you said before, you have skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying into it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was like, okay, I have done everything. I'm going to give it to God. I'm going to give it to Aubrey, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do this. I'm going to make this
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
because I
And you
needed
didn't
to.
10 to yourself at that
No,
point,
I no.
because that's the hardest thing, because I knew it too. Like, at first I was like, I know that you're telling me the truth, because you had skin in the game. You're like, I'm not going to pay this woman money and then lie to her and lie to myself, right?
Mhm.
Because, like, people can still do that, right? Let's be real. Like, we've probably all done it. Nobody's like perfect. But however, it is different. It's like, whenever you hire someone like as a specialist to like help you get somewhere, there has to be like, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm going into Dan shared with me this really good quote. I'm going to paraphrase it. It's like, the scariest cave has the most. Go ahead.
The cave you fear the most holds your greatest treasure.
The cave you fear the most holds the greatest treasure you
Yeah.
seek. And it's like, we all have this fear, like, well, what if it's going to be too hard? First of all, you're the wrong person to talk to if somebody thinks that it's going to be too hard. Guys, if you need, like, seriously, everything that you mentioned, how you grew up on a farm, how you were an athlete, how you went through a divorce, you're a single mom, let's talk real quick about the other thing. When I met you, let's talk about cost, because you had a lot of odds stacked against you, and anyone else in your shoes, Hannah, could have been like, screw that, I am not paying this woman to do what she says she thinks that she could do for me. I'm just going to go and see if I can do it on my own. So you had a cost shift.
I did. I cut a lot of things when we were talking. I mean, I knew there was going to be a cost. I didn't know what the cost was, and I said, "Okay, let me see if I can move some things around." So I did personal training stuff. I did some group fitness classes. I cut off those.
Yeah.
I cut back. I stopped doing that. I love to get my nails done. Stopped
Yeah.
getting my nails done.
Yeah.
Um, love the Botox. Stop the
Yeah.
Botox. Like, you know, all the
And you knew
things.
it was, yeah.
And it was,
Yeah.
and I mean, it wasn't, and there were other sacrifices in there too. I
Mm-hmm.
stopped going to the grocery store and I just put in my order online to the grocery store. So
Yeah.
I wasn't overbuying things at
Yeah.
the store. Shut my Amazon down for a little while because I'm a happy clicker.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it
there
was kind
was
of helpful
definitely,
for you too to look at your finances.
yeah, it was. It really
Yeah,
was.
because even though it's like, with like cost and stuff, like let's say you didn't have to do maybe all of those things,
Uh,
but it created a little snowball for
It,
you,
it, it really
So
did.
that's, yeah.
It really
Yeah.
did. And when you were talking about, the coffee adds up,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and just to think about, oh, $10 here, $5 here, all of
Yeah.
that kind of fun stuff that you just buy because it's $10 or you buy it because it's $5, and it's a
Yes.
great deal,
Yeah.
so I stopped putting myself in situations to find those great deals, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there was a lot of things that I cut back on to make it work because I thought, like, I want to do this. I'm going to make this work. And
Yeah.
so I did. I shifted a lot of things around. We didn't go out to eat. There wasn't snacks. There wasn't
Mm-hmm.
stopping. There was just, oh, we have food at home. You know,
Yes. You ate the food at home.
we
What a
ate the food at
crazy
home. I
idea.
know. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kid was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it
so
is helpful. I mean, I've done this with myself when, we hired a coach as well, or like when we want to do like a Tony Robbins event, or we're going to Tampa, where it forces us to take a look at our finances. Like, what are our reoccurring payments that maybe, like you said, they're just little. It's like, okay, $5 here, $2.99 there that I'm paying for this random app. Shut that down because I'm not using it. Or maybe like I'm downgrading my Planet Fitness membership and saving that $15 a month. And that is so huge, because like with anything, the money's got to come from somewhere. It's not going to fall from the sky. We all want it to. We all want to win the lottery. But you probably have the money, or let's say you took a break from doing your nails, something you love, or maybe like I always use this when I see people like, yeah, with the eyelashes or the tattoos, that sort of thing. Just see where you are financially and then make that shift. You will be so surprised to be like, you know what? I can do my own nails this month. I'm going to try like my natural skincare regimen with castor oil. I'm going to not get my false eyelashes and use the good mascara, something like that. So it could be that simple. And the going out to eat too, and it makes you more aware of like, did I need that, or did I just want it to feel good in the moment? So yeah. Yeah,
cut
I
out the
think that's
convenience.
powerful.
Sometimes it's cut out the convenience
Yeah.
because that's what a lot of that stuff is. It's
Yeah.
convenient and
Yeah.
it's putting in the extra work, it's putting in the extra time, and it is
Mm-hmm.
worth it. And after doing
Yeah.
the Perfect 10, everything, like you said, kind of fell into place for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I was able to take more off. To that point, I don't think that I had like consistently really lost anything.
Right.
But by the time my 4 months was up, I think I was down over 11 pounds and
Mm-hmm.
I had lost 10 inches or so.
Yes.
And
And that was like
yeah,
starting like almost halfway. So it was like
mhm,
in 2 months, because we were at that brick wall,
yeah.
and then suddenly P10 happened. And how do you, if you don't mind, in summary, like how are you doing now since you did the 4 month program? And like I told everybody, a lot of people right now are doing my 6 month. We're moving into a year program here, which is a really cool option. But how are you doing now? Because you've had lots of tools, and even as you're talking about cost shift, it probably changed your behaviors naturally to maybe not go back to some of those costs.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, food wise, I am good. I'm still on track on everything. My son was not happy with me at Halloween time
Yeah.
because we had gone to some trunk or treats, and guess what got passed out? A candy
Yeah.
buys for.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a lot. We don't have a lot of
Yeah.
it. We've cut a lot of that out, and it's just not here. If he
Mhm.
doesn't ask for it, we don't need to have it. Or even if he
Yeah.
asks for it, we don't need to have it.
Yeah.
Um,
You can always go out. That was our thing. It was like you can always go out and have the dessert. Or if it's a kryptonite or if it's like a drug right now, it's like I tell people, you got to sometimes just talk to your family and be like, I'm not ready to have this up in my grill all the time.
And I got to the point where I could walk away from it. I
Yeah,
don't need to have it.
that was big.
Yeah, I went to birthday parties. I brought my own food to kids' birthday
Yeah.
parties. They were all like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to be good.
Yeah.
I'm on this path and I'm going to stick to
Yeah.
it. And no, I don't want your cookies. No, I don't want your cupcakes."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so even my family outside of that kind of like bought into it. We have a cabin and we would go there and everyone would be like, "Oh, well, we brought chicken and a lot of vegetables and we didn't get any chicken."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Okay, great.
I
Okay,
remember
good."
when you told me that, I was so happy because you needed that win in your life
Mhm.
where your family members, they were supporting you instead of being like, oh, girl, you always just party with us. Like, come on now, come on, and try to bully you. Instead, they were like, you know what, we kind of want to do this too,
Yeah.
like, so they started to support you and started to make it less about food indulgence and more about like, hey, let's have this amazing experience. Because when you told me about like your family vacations, I was like, oh my gosh, I had a little bit of envy. I'm not gonna lie, because it sounds so fun, and I love to hear about families that just work so well like that. And that was inspirational for me because I want to create that for my son someday.
Mhm.
So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, Hannah, for taking the time. And um, you know that I'm always just one text away. I love checking
Mhm.
in on you and up on you. And if you don't mind, and you can sit with this because I'm just ambushing Hannah right now. If you feel comfortable in this group, just to make any follow-up post with a picture or just to document, anything that would inspire someone to be like, hey, here are my results. I know that you've done that before. You can even reshare those images, but that would be really powerful sometime today.
Sure.
Because again, these gals hear from me a lot. It's so great to hear from someone who's actually walked the walk.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth it. It is definitely worth it. It's made huge changes for me that people that I see and haven't seen are like, "You look really great. You're and
Yeah.
it is nice." And I got to
Mhm.
buy some new clothes, so that was
Oh
even
yeah, that's fun.
that was
See,
even
with
better.
that cost, with the cost
Yeah.
shift, the money left over, you get to buy the new clothes. So that's a win-win, which is
Hmm.
true. And the last thing that I want to say to everyone watching and listening, guys, I want you to give Hannah some love today. I want you to give her like some heart emojis. Because this is a bold and brave thing to do, is to kind of just be vulnerable, in front of people that you don't know who are out there. But also, Hannah, to also recognize your inner child and where you're going into the badass woman that you are and that you continue to be. I honor and respect you so much. And please I hope that you feel my energy today and gratitude and appreciation. And I'm always here for you. I believe in you. You know it.
I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Ciao for now, my friends.
Yeah.
I'll see you, Hannah.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. We got her on, guys. It was so worth it. Thank you so much, Hannah. We are going to be bringing on Jen Erickson. Oh, I already see some heart emojis dropped in the comments. Thank you, gals. That was so great. All right. I think Jen is going to be ready to join us. So I'm just scrolling. Oh, wait. I know how to do this now. You're like, Aubrey, don't you do this? There we go. Add Jen. Hello. Guys, I'm still blonde. And eventually, is that really blonde? We got it on the first try. Boom. Hey, Jen, how's it going?
Good.
Thank you so much for taking pause out of your valuable lunch break to be on here. And I know when I asked you to do this, you're like, Aubrey, what am I going to be talking about? I don't prefer these things on the fly. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, you're back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you look fabulous. And I like your hair. We got a little beach wave going on.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jen, I wanted to talk to you specifically for so many reasons. You, like many of the people in our Envision program, are very, very inspirational. And I definitely want to give you tons of heart emojis today because you are so deserving of it. You're an amazing human being, inside and out. And you came just kind of ready for a huge change. And I want you to kind of share your story. If you can also do what Hannah did, we're going to time travel back to just maybe a couple months ago when you felt like you hit maybe like a rock bottom in your life, and how that happened, where you were, and what kind of drove you to the next step, if you don't mind sharing that.
Yeah. So I have two small kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 20-month-old. So with both of them, I struggled a bit with like postpartum depression and anxiety. And specifically after my daughter, she was probably about a year or so whenever I started kind of thinking about this. But I just could not get that like mind body connection back. Like I just felt like I had no control of my body. Like I wasn't even inside my body. So a lot of I mean, it just was it. I just needed that like control back. So
Yeah.
that was kind of like the push for me.
Yeah.
I needed to get myself back.
Yeah. And that was, I remember after I had my son, I understood what you were talking about when we had our first initial discovery call. And I said, I remember that feeling of like, wait a minute, where did I go? And I didn't, they asked you the questions when you go to the doctor's office, are you depressed? And I said, one of these moments that I feel sad, but I know deep down at my core, I'm very happy that I have this beautiful boy.
Right.
So what was the disconnect? And it was, you and I talked about like, how do we rebuild you? How do we rebuild Gen 2.0? And you did a lot of work before this. You have done, Jen and I actually met in the gym, guys, okay? And just casually, and you had done all of my pretty much Strong Sexy You group online programs, and you've done very well in a group setting. So now you're into one-on-one coaching that is mixed with the group setting as well. So what was different perhaps than from doing a group program to having the opportunity to do one-on-one coaching for you?
Yeah, for sure the mental part. So, when you're in that group, it's kind of like it's really helpful, and you're part of the group, and you have a little bit, there kind of keeping you on track. But for me, I needed more than just that, like an exercise plan or like this. There were more. It was more what I needed to get through. I needed to go. So, and my sleep is
yes.
It's just all of these aspects of my life. And just like the encouragement, like I know that I need to do this for myself, but before it was such a struggle because I wanted to do everything for my kids, and I needed to realize that this is also for them. I have to be for them.
Yeah.
So
because you were exhausted. I mean, that was the one thing that we really and you were open for it. So can you talk a little bit about sleep in general? A lot of times women, they don't think about their sleep, their quality of sleep, and all these little things that impact our sleep, that affect our hormones, that regulate our cortisol levels, that can impact our adrenal glands, and that make us really cranky bees. And we're not really meant to be cranky bees, but it is hard. And Jen's kids, by the way, are so beautiful. You just updated your Facebook profile picture. It's a beautiful picture, by the way. And on our bi-monthly Zoom calls in the Envision group, Millie's always, she loves you so much. And it's so cool to see. I know it's probably stressful for you sometimes, but she's always on you, right? She's always on you. She wants to be with her mom.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, give us maybe 2 to 3 things that you have changed about your sleep that have been helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The bedtime for sure is keeping that earlier bedtime. Last night I got to bed at 9 o'clock. I was so
Wow.
but I mean,
because your kids were kind of dictating the bedtime, weren't they?
yes.
Okay.
There was no bedtime routine at home. Especially my son, he's a night owl, so he's up, and there are some nights that he's up later than I am, and I just let his dad handle that. So
and you inspired me to do that with my son.
Yeah.
And I finally took my husband's advice. He's like, Aubrey, you can go to bed.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to still stay up, say prayers. Sometimes we'll just say our prayers like sitting on the couch, and he's still rallying. Roman's still rallying. I'm like, bye.
Yep. So I go, I do what I need to do. I don't feel bad about it anymore.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah. And they're just starting to get better at sleeping too. That's going to be helpful, but it's that keeping the strict bedtime for yourself.
Yes. For yourself. Yeah. So what Jen and I just, try to establish to you guys is that everyone has like a cool down time during their day. And we did, Jen was open to like different techniques that I would say like to help her body cool down, to help the environment cool down. And essentially, our kids are feeding off of our energy. Now, maybe not so much your son, but it seems like your daughter is more like, okay, if mommy's cooling down, when my son sees mommy cooling down, he goes straight up. But, it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
But having a cool down during the day is really, really helpful. So if you don't mind, Jen, also, can you share with everyone listening, I want 2 more things that I was thinking of you specifically for. One was, what was, you would say, the biggest dietary shift or habit that you changed when first starting the Envision program? And if there's more than one, you can mention that, but maybe one that sticks out.
Yeah, there was definitely more than one, but one of my biggest things was the energy.
Yeah.
Serious
the energy drink.
Energy.
Yeah.
Like, I'd have 2 or 3 a day, so when I started the P10, I just completely stopped. And my mindset was, this is a short period of time. I can do it. And then I just was, after that, I was like, I don't need to do this. I don't need to drink those anymore. So that was a huge.
Yes. That was huge because those suckers are hard to quit.
Yeah.
Because it's a ton of, it's more caffeine than coffee and tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's synthetic caffeine. So they hook you really early on. So guys, please drop in the comments some clap emojis or some snaps for Jen, because caffeine is an extremely addictive substance, but when it's in the form of synthetic and an energy drink, for her to be like, I'm cutting this off like a severed limb. And now we were talking on Tuesday and you're like, I just drink water and I put electrolytes in my water. And that's
more
big.
Now that the caffeine was truly, it wasn't waking me up or making me feel like I had energy. It was almost like and it was causing a lot of migraines. So a lot of that has.
That's huge. That is huge. I am like, honestly, Jen, I don't know if I can convey how freaking inspiring you are to me. Like, you really are. Like, and I'm trying to mom like you. Like, I want to be a rock star mom, and I see how you mom, and I'm like, man, it pushes me to be better. So just know that. Please know that. The other thing, you shared some great pictures that I sent out today. And in a very short period of time, I mean, Jen, you guys, I want you to know, like, not all results are typical. Like with Jen, she was just ready, but like were melting every week, and you continue to melt to the point where I'm like, wait, don't melt totally away. Because before your kids, you loved to exercise. It wasn't like it was totally new to you. So to be transparent with that. However, you're so good in terms of like reframing things with your diet, nutrition. Like, guys, when you look at her pictures, it's absolutely amazing. Like, every week it was like you were just shedding layers of stuff that just didn't need to be there. And it was not meaning like, oh, body fat, right? Even though that was shrinking. It was just any type of mom guilt, shame, worry. You could literally see that being removed from your body and your check-in pictures. And if you don't mind to share, then how have you mentally flipped the script, having two little ones, a 4-year-old and 20-month-old, because I'm sure that they're eating foods that kids like to eat, a healthy food, but still kid food. How did you stop eating their food?
Yeah, that's tough. So honestly, I did the stop sign method, and that was just easy. I mean, not easy, but that's just what I did. And so, and then it became, everyone in my house knew. I didn't really use like the dialogue of I can't eat this, or mommy can't eat that, bad, not, it's not good. I talked in terms of I'm going to choose my body, and then which actually created a curiosity in my son of, what is this? Talk about the different colors.
Wow.
Yeah, so not that he doesn't ever eat junk, or that vegetables, we can't get him to eat them, but he's interested in them now, and he understands.
Oh, that is so powerful. Yes, I want to reiterate that. And even these techniques that maybe ladies listening or watching that they've done already with their kids, but maybe only once, do it again. And that is so powerful, so that you don't create diet language around your kids. Like, mommy can't have that because fill in the blank. Like, that's being like, well, mommy has to deprive herself and you can indulge. It's almost like guilting, the kids eventually of that. And I think it is important. Like, we talked to our son. I'm not going to lie, let's see, the last bikini show I did, we'll joke with our son. I'll be like, I'm like, if I want to win my bikini show, Rowan, I ain't going to be having ice cream. He's like, oh, you can have it after your bikini show, Mom. So we'll add humor to it. Humor is another element that we can use. But at the same breath, like, he also sees, like, I'm not a kid. I am not meant to eat chicken nuggets every day. Really, I'm not 7. So are the chicken nuggets there? Like, we get good quality chicken nuggets, but at the same time, I'm not 7. I'm 44. And unless I am moving around like a 7-year-old, who's pretty much like a Bengal tiger, even though I'm very active, it's still not going to equate to the goals that I want. And yeah, you and Hannah fall in the same category. You guys were able to flip the script in your mind. And I want to commend you because Jen shows up. She shows up to her check-ins. She shows up to all of our Zoom meetings, and she plays full out. And this is why your results are so freaking, they're exhilarating, and they have been accelerated because you've decided not just to dip your pinky toe in the pool and be like, you know what, I'm going to half-ass this. And I'm just going to drink my lemon water and then pretend I'm doing the things. I'm still going to eat the chicken nuggets and have the energy drinks, and I can do it on my own, right? That wasn't you. So I guess in summary, do you have anything that you would like to share with someone who's listening who maybe they have similar shoes as you? They're just like, you know what, I'm freaking exhausted. I don't even know if I could do what Jen did. I saw her pictures. That's that girl, but that's not me. What would you say to someone who's really, really doubtful?
Yeah. I've definitely been there with a lot of the programs that I did with you. Some of them I did. Some of them I signed up for and just didn't do them. So
Mhm.
I think it just starts with your mindset. You know, if you, and it's not, I don't want to say it's not hard. It's just
Mhm.
you just make that choice to follow the plan, and then you just follow the plan. And you know, it's not you. Uh, I do this a lot where I make things a lot more complicated in my head than they need to be, and then
Mm.
and then that fear, of, will I even be able to do this? So
Yeah.
just just try, you know, and see
Yeah.
what happens. And I
Yeah.
think that's it. Just commit.
Commit.
Hmm.
Yes. Take the plunge.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jen. And thank you for, sharing your pictures and your results. And that is so impactful to so many. And I just want to close by, gals watching, I want you to please give Jen some big heart emojis because you deserve this energy. You are Gen 2.0, baby. And her transformation isn't even done yet, guys.
Mhm.
So watch out because we just don't know what's going to happen other than everything is going to be so good because you're a loving human being. You're an amazing mom. And this is the best gift that you could absolutely receive. So thank you, Jen, for your time. I hope you have the best day possible. I'll talk to you soon, lady.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
All right, guys, we had two amazing ladies join us. Thank you guys for tuning in, and please send them some love, all that good stuff. So, in summary, because we are at that time and I want to be respectful of your time, guys, I'm going to do a bonus day tomorrow, and I'm going to Tampa tonight, so I'll be going live tomorrow at the same time. But I'll probably send an email. We'll see. I don't know. But you will get notified. Book your dang call. You can drop me a DM to say, all right, Aubrey, I'm picking up what you're putting down. What does this cost? I'm going to talk about it tomorrow anyway. But the cost shift basically that you'd have to make would break down to like $100 a week. Okay. And even though I do offer discounts for those who pay in full or in different months time span, think of it that way. I want you to look at your budget. If you are ready for a transformation coach, a fitness expert, a behavior change strategist, I am your girl. And if you feel like you want to date me virtually, let's do it. Okay. Kidding, not kidding, right? Uh, Last thing I want to say, as you embark on your perfect 10, don't lie to yourself. Don't hide from yourself. Post your freaking results, man. Guys, especially if you're not signing up for Envision and you're not sending me stars, my tip jar is you posting results that I can use so I can find people who are looking for me. All right. Ciao for now, everybody. Talk tomorrow.